No, North Korea did not execute teenagers today for watching Squid Game. Hello, my name is Madeline. I do research for a research-based podcast about American imperialism and propaganda, and everyone is extremely propagandized about North Korea. So this is actually a variation of a different rumor that's been circulating the internet for years. If you search the internet, you'll find all sorts of times this supposedly happened. These results are from before January 1st of 2024, for example. But let's look at where this most recent claim came from. Sources like The Sun claim that this came out in a recent Amnesty International report. Amnesty did just come out with this report. It just says that a person heard from another person that this happened to someone else. Now you notice none of the sources are named, and it's hearsay of hearsay. But they told us where they might have heard of this. Probably from this 2021 report from Radio Free Asia, which similarly does not name a source for this claim. Now, Amnesty International actually regularly cites Radio Free Asia, including in this 2024 report. But what they don't disclose is that Radio Free Asia is actually a propaganda network created by the CIA in 1951. And today, Radio Free Asia is part of something called the U.S. Agency for Global Media, or the USAGM, an official part of the U.S. government. That's the United States state-run media, designed to spread a pro-American, pro-capitalist agenda around the world. And there, under entities, you can see a few things, including RFA, or Radio Free Asia, funded by U.S. Congress. In reality, media control in North Korea is not as strict as Westerners think. They allow foreign media, just not stuff that would subvert or destabilize their country. Things like certain Japanese anime, for example, that attempt to justify the Japanese colonization of the Korean peninsula. But Squid Game is probably not something they would outlaw, because Squid Game is actually a scathing critique of South Korean capitalism. And it's actually, in particular, remarkably pro-North Korean. There's one scene where a North Korean defector in the South is asked, was it better in the North? And the character says nothing, which might not have registered to you if you weren't super familiar with what's going on in North and South Korea. But if you do know, it's actually a very powerful scene. Because in South Korea, it's actually illegal to say anything positive about the North. So when this character says nothing, it's their way of saying, yeah, North Korea was better. They know they can't legally say yes, so they just say nothing instead. Stay vigilant out there, friends, because the devil works hard, but the CIA works harder.